read it tonight.
Hola. Will somebody come in? We're not. Yeah. 1 minute.
Right, go into there and fix that up.
All right, folks, welcome everybody to our October 15th regular council meeting and committee of the whole meeting tonight. First off, I'd like to just again acknowledge that we're gathered on Treaty 5 territory. That's the traditional lands and ancestral lands of our neighbors, the Passawat Cree Nation, as well as many other Indigenous peoples, and is also the homeland of the Red River Métis. So with that, I will call the meeting to order. Just a quick attendance check. Councillor Manich has sent his regrets, and Councillor Commodore has sent a acknowledgement that she is potentially, or she is going to be late, and she should be here as soon as she can get here. So with that, moving to, somebody should have a resolution to adopt the agenda.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen. Resolved that the agenda be adopted as amended. The amended area is the moving the dental office on Second Street from
Committee of the whole.
committee of the whole to the regular meeting.
Perfect. Please, any comments? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Somebody should have a resolution to, for the minutes.
Moved by myself, excuse me, second by Councillor Allen. Can't see him, can't talk, both. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 23rd, 2024 be hereby approved, all statutory declarations complied.
Everybody have a chance to go through the minutes? All right, call questions, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Alrighty, we've got a recognition period. Anybody want to share any good stuff that happened this, since our last meeting?
Definitely want to acknowledge Culturama.
Oh, yeah.
That was a week of entertainment for sure. Got to see on the inside too with my wife performing, but it was great to see everybody coming together and sharing the culture of our community. It's always eye-opening how vast our culture is in this community. It was great.
No, I completely agree. It really brought our community together and all of the people that live in our community, and I look forward to a bigger and better next year. Hats off to all of the volunteers and the organizers that made that happen, and as well as all the sponsors. It was well received, so thank you to everybody. Anybody else have anything?
I'd like to give a thank you to Eddie Demczewski for putting on his Pride Night again on the egg grounds and the fireworks. And unfortunately, I was not able to attend them because when I'm working, but I heard really good reports about it. Everybody really enjoyed themselves, and he put on one heck of a show again as usual. And that's all the volunteer of his family and friends that are putting it on. It's really good.
I heard lots of positive things about that as well.
It's well worth the time to go through the haunted house. It's super spooky, scary. And La Croix Dance, they also participated doing a show on the track as well. So Ed has really upped his game a lot in terms of putting on a show for the community, and we're extremely lucky to have something like that here.
No, absolutely.
I have one thing too. Last week, the fire department and BOLA with Town of Paw here, they hosted in front last Friday Kindara's birthday party. I got to it right when it was ending. I felt super, super bad about all of that. But then later on at 8 o'clock that night, there was a vigil that was held in behind UCN. It was extremely emotional, as it is every year, and myself, which I'm sure the rest of council still sends their condolences
Absolutely.
to the family, and hope that, you know, hopefully peace can be found through all of this.
And they can come to some sort of conclusion on what really happened and who's responsible, so,
100%.
yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Just because, sorry, mine might be. Okay, I was just gonna give a shout out to the fire department for their open house on Saturday too.
Yes.
My-
Councillor Robin?
My loss of voice, which you're probably all grateful for sometimes, just, taking a bit of a different slant on this, I'd like to recognize the citizens who have approached me numerous times at the arena, at the Roy H. Johnson Arena, and they bring up 3 issues every time. I told a couple of them to come here tonight, they're not here, but, on their behalf, I want to recognize their efforts. Quite often people come with, complaints but no solutions. They have complaints and they have solutions, which is not the norm. The first complaint that they brought up, and this has happened to me the last 3 times I'm at the Roy H. The water fountains. The water fountains are archaic, they're out of service. Anybody participating in the Roy H. Johnson Arena apparently either have to buy water to fill their water bottles at the canteen, or they go into the wellness center. We need to spend some money and buy this, and their solution was buy 2 new, they're both out of order, and they've been order for a long time. And it's been brought before, council or administration previously. They said buy, the new ones, and the comment was made, it was ironic, you're talking about the fireworks. He said, if you can spend $5,000 or more on fireworks, why can't you spend similar on, getting the water fountains, bring up into the 21st century that people can fill the water bottles up. The second thing, they're talking about tripping hazards. And what are the tripping hazards? Well, tripping hazards, when you come out of where you're sitting, you catch your foot, or you can't see where the stairs are properly marked. Their solution was, I see you have lots of orange paint, that you paint all the curbs outside of town. Why aren't you painting the leading edge of the stairs? That was their solution. The other thing they're talking about the Blizzard hockey team doing so well, and we have more and more people attending not only Blizzard games but other functions at the rink now. And the railings, we're seeing there should be railings coming down the stairs that people are having a harder time, especially some older people. I exclude myself from that so far, but they're saying you spend $1.5 million on paving and in town. Why can't you put the railings up? So anyway, that's taking a little bit different. I'm just recognizing the citizens that brought this forward and also gave a solution. And so I'm going to throw that to council and administration. I'm sure I'll volunteer to paint the steps, the leading edge of the steps. Give me a gallon of paint. But anyway.
No, that's good. I'm glad that they brought that forward, and I did send in the same request from a citizen about a month ago using E-City. I put in the same thing about the water fountains because somebody had approached me as well, and I encouraged them to use that app to put in the formal request. So no, that's good. No, I appreciate that, and that's what we're there for as councillors, right? And representatives, is to listen to our citizens and bring forward those things to our staff. And so hopefully our staff can respond to it. And anybody needs an extra paintbrush, Councillor Hopper's all ready to roll and help you out.
A gallon of paint, Sam.
Yeah.
Thanks, buy one, get one free this week.
Oh, geez.
Just saying.
I got a couple things too. I just wanted to add, so sort of around the same. I want to recognize Jonathan. We had last week before linkages, we actually had a meeting with a bunch of people that come into town, a bunch of deputy ministers, and Jonathan gave a sort of an overview of the community and why, what's the value we have for our community, and did a really good job of with the pictures that he did in his presentation, and showed sort of, you know, there's lots of opportunity here and that we're open for business to reach out and I also seen him make lots of connections through linkages during that day as well. So thanks to him for that. And the final thing, sort of back into the arenas. What a great community we have though, when I think about it, like Saturday night, I went to opening night of the Ocean Storm. And if you wanna watch some exciting hockey, Storm hockey is pretty exciting too, because, there's lots of breakaways, lots of skilled players, lots of big checks, and a great atmosphere in the GLMC, so, you know, what a community of having, lucky to have a junior B team and having a junior A team in one community is quite a treat, so, I encourage everybody to get out there, that's a great place to meet old friends and talk common hockey. Okay, moving along, we don't have anything else, citizen period, we don't see anybody here tonight unless Jonathan has something to say as a citizen. Yeah, and, so moving on to 8.1, traffic bylaw, Ross Avenue. Somebody should have that.
Maybe 1-1, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, sorry.
Resolution number 2024-194, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper, resolved that bylaw number 4650, being a bylaw of the town of Quad to amend the regulating of traffic and parking bylaw number 2265 be read a first time.
So for people, just for some background, remember we had a request from the daycare, Uptown Daycare around some concerns around current parking lot and parking areas. So this allows us to address that needs of creating a drop-off zone. So if there's no questions, call a question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. So 8.2.1.
Resolution number 2024-195, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper, resolved that bylaw number 4651, being a bylaw of the town of Quad to amend the regulating of traffic and parking bylaw number 2265 be read a first time.
And so for people, just out there in the general public, this is where you turn off of a back lane, behind Bignell Avenue. This is restricting the turn to go west, because of the closeness or the proximity of the tracks and the recommendation from the National Rail Board or whatever that rail safety board. They've asked us to put this in place so that, we restrict traffic flow that direction. Any further questions? Seeing none, call a question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Okay, traffic bylaw, Lakeview lots.
Resolution number 2024-196, moved by myself, second by Councillor Hopper, resolved that bylaw number 4652, being a bylaw of the town of Quad to amend the regulating of traffic and parking bylaw number 2265 be read the first time.
So this again, is really around ensuring that we have the right, is this the right one? 265? Oh, no, yeah. This is ensuring that we're doing the right, we have the right bylaws in place to install stop signs and such out at the Lakeview lot. You can't just put up a traffic sign or signs without actually having bylaws in place. And there was nothing set up in the past, so this was the first part of that. Call a question, all in favor, opposed, carried. Okay. Get back here. Excuse me, where are we at, AMM convention?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Resolution 2024-197, moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, resolve, excuse me. Resolve the council approve the CAO and municipal superintendent, as well as 2 members of council to attend the AMM Fall Convention in November of 2024.
And annual convention, it's a great opportunity for us to make contact with government officials as well as also with fellow municipalities to sort of learn what they're doing well, see what the challenges out there, and also provide some education for our staff. The trade show is a big event where our staff, guys like Sam and others can get more information and connection to suppliers. Call the question, all in favor?
Just one comment I wanted to just quickly make on that, noticing the issue sheet that talks about the gala tickets. I personally don't want one of those, so don't order one for myself.
Okay.
Everything else is fine.
Also, is it still too late now?
Put on the show my order. It's out.
There's for two people that are going, and I think right now there's only one confirmed.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the dates.
That's
The
fine.
one day is kind of messing me up a little bit, trying to see if I can go around it.
Yeah, so this resolution, guys, is for two people. The details around the rest of the stuff, we can just deal with BOLA. If we have to add three for some reason, we can always cut another meeting to with that.
Okay.
Call a question, all in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, appointment of the secretary for the Board of Revision.
Resolution number 2024-198, moved by myself, excuse me, seconded by Councillor Allen. Resolve the council appoint. Bola, I don't know how to pronounce it. Bola as the secretary for the Board of Revision for the town of the Quad. My apologies, Bola.
So this is a legislative requirement, with the law, with the leaving of our last secretary, we need to appoint a secretary for the Board of Revisions. A Board of Revisions usually takes place towards the end of, November, early December sort of thing, so. Any questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor, opposed, carried. Okay, electronic device for council.
Resolution number 2024-199, moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen. Resolve the council approve the purchase of an electronic device to enable the two new council members, Councillors Forster and Commodore, to access AllNet online in the amount of $500 plus tax each.
Again, new councilors, I believe, from this,
That should be 500, not plus tax, just 500. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, just 500, even.
so just as a note, this is something that we do when new councils come on board. We've had discussions that this needs to be turned into a policy. And, it really shouldn't come to, council as a resolution, so, but we'll deal with that, before the next term. And hopefully nobody else leaves us by then.
I checked the number, last year they added, tax plus another bit. So tax was added.
We'll let you guys figure it out.
That's fine, even. Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, so all in favor? No, you're in favor. There's no conflict there, but. Okay. Board of Revisions, electronic airport disruptions.
Resolution number 2024-200, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Atkinson. Whereas the airport electrical is beyond its useful life by 22 or more years, therefore be it resolved that the council approve the assessment and prevention procedure to ensure the consistent and safe operation of airfield electrical systems in the amount of $19,489.09 plus tax, with the monies to be taken from the airport reserve fund.
Right, so this is from the presentation from our managers, Trevor out at the airport. As everybody's aware, the town owns the airport and it's a significant asset for us. And last year, we had some significant delays in flights, with not only the airfield itself, but also with the de-icing equipment. And this should address all of those issues and make the service more reliable. Any further questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor, opposed, carried. All right. Okay. Medical Radiation Technology Week.
Resolution number 2024-201, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Atkinson. Be resolved, the council authorize the mayor to sign the attached proclamation declaring November 3rd to 9th, 2024, Medical Radiation Technologies Week in the town of La Pod to raise awareness about medical radiation technologies.
Again, a great service with our healthcare providers out there. Medical radiation technologists are an essential link between patients and imaging and their doctors. So anything we can do to help promote that profession and show some appreciation, I think is valuable. So if there's no questions, we'll make that week as a proclamation, or we'll sign a proclamation in the next few weeks. Call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Okay, payrolls and accounts.
Resolution number 2024-202, moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Atkinson. Be resolved, the council authorize the following accounts. Pay period number 20 in the amount of $112,497.71. General checks number 28817 to 28893 in the amount of $2,463,469.01. EFTs in the amount of $161,598.07.
Okay, just one comment on the check, just for clarification. We have a check, number 28886. We're just not sure if this is should be paid by somebody else, and that's all we're asking for clarification. So I put it on the top here, because if it's an NPI request, if there's an insurance issue, so we've asked somebody to do some work, should we get compensated back that money? So I signed it anyways and left it on top here. Is there any other questions with anything on the check registry? Seeing none, so we'll approve all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Yeah, so if we could just get this one checked, and I think you heard the discussion earlier. Nothing on personnel, committee reports, museum reports. Councillor Commodore sent me her report, I'll just share it. So she said the meeting date was the same night as council's. Note of interest, she enjoyed the France Cooper's opening of her exhibit, Convey. The community has such talented artists, and I would urge all to take a look. I had the pleasure of offering refreshments to our guests. Variety of wine and beer were offered, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. The exhibit will be at the San Walter Museum until December 28th. And and that was the main part of her report. Chamber of Commerce, Councillor Manich is not here tonight, but I
read the information on it, and they didn't have enough to make quorum, so there's no decisions made.
And I believe their AGM is the week before, AMM, yes. Under CDC, just a quick update, and I'll send this and put it in the minutes, and we'll send it over to the RM Housing Accelerator Fund. So we're still waiting. That's still under review. Jonathan's been doing some business visits, so he's visited a freshwater fish plant. Linkages, as I mentioned, we were there for a couple of days last week. Great interaction, good place to meet a lot of contacts. And I'm sure there's going to be stuff coming out of there. At the same time as the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Tour was, taking place, I sort of, mentioned that, and I think Jonathan also took them and some deputy ministers out to Clearwater Lake and showed them sort of the lake property as you drove by and the caves and sort of what we're all about. RV tours, excuse me. A community marketing strategy, so Jonathan's been engaging with Golden West as to try to get a, so they've had multiple meetings so far and hoping to have something by the end of October. And this is where we really need to package up the town of the paw, and like I said, we've got good talking points, we have all the information in one, but we just don't have it all in one spot, and we need to sort of put it all together. And then, so yes, and then the industrial lots, I guess, is the other big thing. They're working on selling a couple of industrial lots in town, working with some potential interests right now, so to see where that goes. And then our next meeting is Monday, this coming Monday. Destination marketing. Councillor Forster,
Sorry, no meeting.
Cedar Lake.
Yes, we met, last Thursday. And the Investing in the Futures grant were awarded to 3 organizations. Birch River Library, it was for a family fun and swim day. The Park Arts Council, Culturama, and Kelsey Recreation and Wellness Center for the turf line installation. Total awarded $4,475. Total amount leveraged was $16,170. Planning is underway for the 28th annual Vision Quest conference in Winnipeg. CF Cedar Lake is on the executive board for Vision Quest. Vision Quest is proud of its reputation of successfully bringing together innovators, entrepreneurs, and business leaders to discuss and promote Indigenous business, community, and economic development. At the heart of Vision Quest is the mission of encouraging sustainable Indigenous economic development and the goal of the emergence of best business practices that support and synergize community and individual development. The 28th annual Vision Quest conference is scheduled for May 14th and 15th of 2025. Developed an accommodation listing information page, which is generously being hosted on the Town of Paw's website. CF Cedar Lake is currently in the process of developing an all-encompassing tri-community website. The goal is to create a website that will act as a central hub of information for the tri-community area. This website is designed to be a comprehensive platform that caters to the needs of tourists, visitors, prospective residents, developers, employers, and other stakeholders. It offers a wide range of resources and services to meet the diverse needs of the community. The idea for the Tri-Community website was born out of one of the recommendations from the Business Needs Assessment Survey. They're actively seeking funding for this project, having applied to the TPCRC and Destination Marketing with no success. A grant application has also been submitted to the CDC. In response to the community request, we'll also be organizing an information session with Cooperatives First to explore the idea of a seniors housing co-op, and the date is not yet scheduled. There's also going to be another workshop that the date is not scheduled yet as well, but it's going to be assisting people in reading financial statements. So it could be something that council could participate in as well.
That's
Yeah.
nice, I'm so thrilled with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And the
Between
person,
that
Yeah.
and looking at year-end audits, I can't get enough of that stuff.
and the person who isn't confirmed, so I won't say their name right now, they are top drawer. Like they're absolute top drawers. So fingers crossed that.
Yeah, it's always an opportunity to learn if we get a chance.
Yes, 100%. And our next meeting will be December. Yes.
Okay, recycling board.
Meeting next week. Didn't have one in September or August.
Library board,
That means tomorrow.
KSD, no meeting.
No.
I don't believe.
No. We need to organize one now that
Okay.
everything's back in the swing of things, so.
That's reports, but before we move down the agenda, I was just gonna get the additional item moved before we get too far out of resolutions and deal with the dental office.
Rather long ones moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, whereas this company number 7017384 Manitoba Limited is the sole registered and beneficial owner of property 216 Second Street West, the PAW R9A 1M3, which is the dental office at the fire on Second Street. Excuse me, therefore be resolved that council authorize chief administration officer to sign purchase agreement with company number 4672128 Manitoba Limited for the purchase of Lot A, Block 3, Plan 587 PLTO North Division in Block A, the Paw Indian Reserve, 216 Second Street West, the Paw R9A 1M8, and the town of the Paw in the amount of $1 purchase price in lawful money of Canada. This has been discussed numerous times with council, and the town has taken initiative to purchase the property and clean it up and add it to our inventory of commercial business area in the downtown. So we've always been, people ask, when are you going to do the light up? When's this going to? So we're doing our part to look after the damaged and derelict buildings. This one here, I think, is a great price. The dollar will also be paying for the cleanup, but at the end of the day, our total output will be probably really what the property would be worth if somebody were selling a vacant lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing is, the other advantage is we own the other lot that's adjacent to it already, so that sort of ties that in and allows us to tie a development agreement to those properties where we could see some advancement, so but the key is let's get it cleaned up now that once this is approved. So with that, is there any further discussion?
Great.
So I'll call the question for, against, I just gotta write this on here, against. 0, carried. Alrighty, so now the pressure is on Tanvir and Sam and the crew to get that place cleaned up by the end of this week. Oh. No, there's just a little bit of paperwork to do there, so we'll just, this allows us to get that done and hopefully it's cleaned up before the snow flies here. Okay, where am I here? Yeah, I just gotta find my spot here. Okay, reports.
10.2.
Any other council updates? Anybody else? I know I have one update. I sort of talked a little bit about it. We attended linkages, which was very valuable. It was 2 days of meetings, and I was able to be part of a panel one day and then also host some tables in the evening to sort of get the discussion. Lots of discussion around harm reduction and those type of things that are going on within the province, as well as economic development. But one thing that really came out, and I took a little bit of razzing, which is fine. I mean, it's fine. But our documents on our website need to be updated. You know, they had a fellow giving a talk on AI, and he used our website as an example. And when he pulled up the building permit is a photocopy of a fax that might have been created back in the 70s. That we talk about not being able to actually, we wonder why sometimes our building permits may be low, but if accessibility to the permit itself is difficult to use, we might just be having people avoiding it because it's easy to avoid. And then if you look around our website, if anybody's got some free time, there's a lot of documents that could be updated into the 2020s. So what I'm suggesting that we do as a community, and if I need to bring an issue sheet for the next meeting, is that we create a plan to get our documents and our updated, remove our bylaws that are old and have been repealed and archive them somewhere else, but have all of our active bylaws accessible and updated and re-signed or whatever we have to do. And if we have to bring 2 or 3 of them to a meeting, every meeting for the next 6 months, then let's do that. But, it is, we need to, that's the front end of our community. And if we want to be professional, we've got to look professional, we've got to act professional. So that's my take on that.
I don't think you need to bring an issue sheet forward. You've explained it very well. I think with that, administration has direction and come back with a plan on how to do it. And was mentioned earlier that UCN is a valuable asset there, possibility, and there's others in town.
Yep.
But come back as soon as possible and tell us, here's the plan, here's what it's going to cost, and let's move forward so you don't wait to see you get ridiculed.
Oh, no, I don't mind that. That was the fun part. I was keeping score because they brought it up 4 times in one day, so. Yeah, so that's the only thing that I would say. It was a great, like I said, the session at Linkages was very valuable, and I suggest anybody gets an opportunity to be there. We also got to corner some deputy ministers on a few, have a few discussions with them on the side on the important stuff. The other thing, I'll just let know, and I know we have our friend Sergeant Stark in the audience, but we did send a letter to the Justice Minister as well. I believe I copied council on it. Just sort of outlining our concerns with regards to the lack of members and and the amount of overtime that our current members are having to operate in town. And as Councillor Hopper said earlier, we also have some suggestions on how that we think that we can help the situation when it comes to recruitment and retention and such. So we will try to meet with this Minister of Justice during AMM so that we can have that discussion face to face. But we also were able to share it with other ministers that were there. We're still concerned with regards to the amount of money we pay for our policing, and this is not a local issue with the local RCMP by no means. This is a federal issue with regards to our service contract, but $3.5 million is a lot of money to pay for our CP costs.
Just adding to that, I know it was mentioned last time about why we can't get people to come here. And there's a variety of reasons. First and foremost, one of them is housing. And I've talked to a couple of developers, and I think they've already made contact with the sergeant here on building 4 that pursues. You have somebody come in for some professionals, and the other thing is the isolated post allowance. That's been a contention. That was an area where it was actually would attract members here with families, and it was a big plus, and we've lost that. The RCP local have lobbied long and hard for years now to try and get it back. So I still think that there's some room there that from council's point of view, we should be talking to the feds on this and pushing hard on that. Everybody's talking about safety. We can't expect a limited number of officers to be working countless hours, and that just opens up burnout and sick pay and dangerous situations for the members as well. So we've always been a supportive community of the RCMP, and I think we have to do whatever we can in this regard to help them to attract people and retain them here for the duration. Years ago, people would come here as members and work here and come back again and retire. So it's nice to get back to that era, and I know we're dealing with all sorts of different things that play here, but we'll have to do what we can to,
Yeah.
the system and bring more people in here.
No, absolutely, and one of the things I know, Sergeant Stark will agree that, you know, when they first lost that isolation post, the council at the time, we lobbied and lobbied and lobbied, and we continue to lobby, we're not letting it go, and every opportunity we get, we need to keep doing that. We've also suggested that there's other ways of actually, if they can't put it back in, there's other ways to create that compensation to ensure that members come here and stay here, so. Perfect, okay, so moving to capital projects, oh, no, sorry, reports, airport fuel sales.
Looks better.
So where are we gonna end up?
I think we're gonna end up very close to what the budget or.
I was hoping that.
The one thing I'd like to point out is, the ab gas is at about 121% of revenue that we're over, by 21% of the actual budget. However, the revenue may be skewed, that number might be skewed because we had to, charge more based off of the procurement issue that we had with ab gas. So I just don't want to be misleading. It's probably not sitting at 121. If we were to go apples to the budget, it's probably sitting at about 100%.
But you don't see any issue with landing at budget?
Sorry?
You don't see any issues with us ending at budget for gap for
No.
fuel sales?
No, not at all. I just wanted to highlight that, you know, we are 21% over, but that might be due to the increased price because of the procurement issue that we're having with gas and the amount we had to raise it by.
Okay,
But we will be on budget. I like being on budget, but I just want to let you know that we're at 121% of budget, and that might be the reason why.
I like that better, actually. I like being over budget in that column. So if you could continue to be over budget in those ones, then we'd be very happy.
We will try our best.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, any questions with regards to that? Appreciate you logging in. I didn't realize you were online, so thanks for dialing in tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, airports, capital, do you wanna go through that, Trevor?
Yes, it's going through that and the presentation of which you Trevor.
Hi, yes, Tanvir, are you gonna share it on the screen or do you want me to open it up?
I already opened it up. You're on slide 1.
Okay, I need to find the presentation now that I lost it. I apologize, everybody.
That's okay. Technology, we're getting better.
Invite here.
Super advanced.
I like it.
Oh.
Web. Here we are. Airport. There we go. Okay, slide 1. Thank you for sharing. So part of our airport operations strategic and strategy and achievements for 2024, we've acquired a new de-icer, and we're hoping that's going to help with any interruptions due to weather this winter. It's also given us the capability to apply anti-icing fluid during inclement weather, which the carrier, our main carrier, Comair, is appreciative of, and we will have training for the staff next week. It's not just a normal applying. Type 1 is removing any contamination. Type 4 prevents contamination from adhering to any aircraft surface. So that's a real advantage. So that gives us an operational advantage to other airports in the area. It also opens up the door to potential charters and any other aircraft itinerant aircraft that need somewhere to land and the ability to get out at the same time. Infrastructure improvements, we removed an old building that was beside the terminal building. It was an eyesore, really had no purpose for the airport anymore. So now we just have a concrete slab that's sitting there that we are going to try and determine what, as a group, we can use that as to our advantage, to our benefit for future projects at the airport. We partially painted the air terminal building, which is part of, our overall refreshment or refurbishment of the terminal building. We weren't able to finish it just to other competing priorities, but this is on our list for 2025 summer projects. Continuing on slide 2, fuel storage and fire readiness. We were successful in bringing in the additional capacity for fuel, which, especially with the hardship of the procurement for avgas, and it wasn't just a Manitoba problem, it actually was a national problem, and we were able to actually come out of this looking fairly well in the eyes of our customer. And in fact, we worked with the customer to secure additional fuel. So that partnership, I think, strengthened based off of not only having the additional, but also working with them to bring in the additional fuel. Slide 3, we start talking still about the airport operations strategy and achievements, staffing and leadership changes. We onboarded a new accountable executive with Jen's departure. Bola took on the additional role of the airport accountable executive that is mandatory when it comes to the airport operating certificate and your safety management system. We also had a team member retire, and we actually onboarded 2. The first individual did not quite work out as planned. So we had to go back to the drawing board, start the recruitment process over. The individual is now into their 4th or 5th month with us. Loves the job, loves being at the airport, and we're looking at future growth with the individual. 2024 also led to some things that we weren't able to achieve, and again, just to compete priorities. Painting of the air terminal building and new signage. We have an idea of the signage we want, we just ran out of time. And gathering information for auction items, so the other old equipment that's at the airport, unused storage, surplus materials. We will, take stock over the winter, and then hopefully in the spring we'll be ready to advertise them and get them out of get them off airport lands.
Oh, that's good, Trevor. I have one question when I look at this, and I appreciate, the work on sort of understanding where our challenges were last year with regards to making sure we can deliver the service that we want to deliver and purchasing the equipment and reducing the risk of outages. But if I look at the airport on its own, what can we do to grow that business out there so that we're doing more, like where we get more flights in other airlines? Like I don't know what else can be done out there.
I'm thinking, potentially adding a couple more hangars may help us attract. I know at one point, when I was the airport manager previously, we were in discussions with Kuwait Air about having a base out there. I've opened up that conversation again with them. They ultimately moved to Thompson, but they never did take their eye off the PAW. So there's potential there. I think our future really lies in the potential of building a couple more hangars. Everyone's looking for hangar space, and whatever we can use for aircraft. We do make good revenue off of storage or cold storage, with boats and campers and that. So, maybe we don't look at a full aircraft hangar. Maybe we look at a combination of another aircraft hangar and some equipment storage hangar. The storage facilities or sheds that we have, I don't know if I think they're from World War II housing and that, because they're looking pretty decrepit. So we'll be lucky based off their lifespan or their life cycle. So that might be where the additional revenue comes from.
Is that being included in your plans, like for proposals for 2025 and with the strategic plan? Like not only maintaining the infrastructure that you have, because, if we have hangars that are World War II vintage, and if they're falling down, we want to make sure that we can preserve them as best as possible. But is there a plan to kind of present the council over the next year or so on that possibility for expanding the business?
Yeah, I did touch on it. I think the hangars may be a more 5-year plan than it would be next year, just because we have some other competing projects that need attention before that, but,
Yeah.
it's definitely there.
Yeah, no, it'd be good for us to see that vision out there so that it's longer than 1 year and we kind of know, you know, if whoever the next council might be, if we need to increase reserve spending or reserve allocations to prepare for that in the future, then, you know, this council could start doing that now, if we have a vision there. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions for council?
I had one. Trevor, it's Councillor Allen. I just had a question regarding the painting of the terminal, the new signage and all that. The airport's kind of like one of the first stops that a lot of people have when they're first coming to our community, and obviously that leaves a pretty significant impression on them when they're coming to the community. Is there like a time frame on when that's going to be completed?
By spring of next year, so I'd say going into June,
Thank you.
June of 2025.
Okay, thanks a lot, Trevor. There's no further questions in the room, so I appreciate you hanging in here tonight with us.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, Public Works. Yep, we're gonna hear you, Sam.
Awesome, thank you. I promised Will that I would keep this short and sweet this evening. Just wanted to first start by touching on a few things that were brought up. I don't know if Mr. Cruz heard some of the comments from Councillor Hopper regarding some concerns he was hearing regarding the water fountain and the rain. Those are discussions that we've had internally as well, and plans for those in 2025, as well as some of the tripping hazards that were raised as well. We'll be working on a new accessibility grant application that we're putting in the new year, just open until the new year, so some of those issues will be for sure looked at.
Sam,
Thank
can
you.
can I ask you one question about the water fountains? Why does that have to wait till 2025? Like, that is a installed piece of equipment. And if it was broken, just like the Zamboni, we would fix it. Or replace it.
I can answer that, Sam, if you want me to.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. The water bottle filler stations are a capital project that's gonna be 2025, but the immediate fix is that there's just gonna be gooseneck spout that'll be installed in the bathrooms that were ordered today, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
if I could ask a follow-up on that, how much for
for the fillers,
for a new
Yeah.
water fountain with the proper,
the ones that are just the filling stations, about 1,500, and then it's about double, 3,000 for one with the fountain, like that you can actually drink from, and the filling station.
okay?
So we need we need two.
I
So it'd
don't
be,
I don't think it's acceptable to wait till next year to. I think.
I would agree,
We have to find money somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two new ones to put them in,
Yeah.
find the money somewhere, take it out of equipment reserve.
Community housing.
Somewhere.
I'd be good with that, I was advised otherwise.
Yeah, I support Councillor Hopper, like, we have installed equipment that's broken, we need to fix
To
it.
me, that was how I saw it as well.
Yeah,
I'd like
so
to just replace it
This
right
is
now.
not a capital, this is a maintenance issue, it failed,
Is that a
it's
little
broken.
spout you put on there on the existing ones?
It gets broken almost every 2 weeks, because kids just,
Yeah, put in.
the kids, so.
It's $6,000.
And Councillor Atkinson said there'd be possibility you could apply to Cedar Lake for grants, so.
Is that something
The
that
same
would
one
happen in the
that
other
I just
communities
applied.
as well?
Would that be that same grant that
Yes, the
Yeah.
same one as your lines, yes.
So I think it's pretty clear, I think council is all in agreement here that we want new water filling stations.
Okay.
We need to have that for
it is
our
on
community
the
members.
2025, and I'll just pick it up to 2024, which would be fine.
Do it now.
I would be happy to do that.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Council, for that clarification. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page on that.
and then again, you know, Sam, just on the flooring and such, I know that's a bigger ticketed item, but if we do have specific safety hazards with that, you know, the priority, if we can't if we can't absolutely eliminate or reduce the hazards as low as humanly possible, we may have to just bite the bullet and spend some money in reserves and fix the floor. And the same as the accessibility issue, you know, I think I sent with that latest grant that came out, I believe that there's opportunity for us to apply for that grant money there, but even if it's matching, you know, I think our arena is becoming a lot more busy, as Councilor Hopper said, and we need to have some access to ensure that people can get around.
At the very least, Sam, if you wouldn't mind, I don't know if council be in agreement, at least get a quote from, we've got local people that could put the railings in there, just get a quote and see what we're looking at for dollars.
Sure, absolutely.
They were just trying to give you less things to do next year now.
Yeah.
Not going on this.
Okay, now back to your presentation.
Okay, so we're here to discuss the 2024 capital works update for the projects we've completed. So over to slide 2. Slide 2, we've broken down a little pie chart and a little list of projects that we've worked on. So we've put 2 of them together, completed and ongoing. So the 72% you see is based on the projects we believe, well, that we know are done or are on schedule to be done this coming still in this season. Now I want to kind of go through, touch on a few of them. Do you guys want to know if they were on budget or not, or how would you like me to proceed on that?
Well, yeah, if they're over, we should.
Okay, so the first one was the public works trucks. We budgeted 130,000 for that. We were under budget. We came in at 107,698. The next project was the SCADA system. That's the WNS computer program. We budgeted 95,000 for that project. We came in just under $44,000. The next project we budgeted was the tandem. We gave you all the ones that were under budget first, and the tandem came in at $269,000. The next capital project was the Vactor repair, $100,000 budgeted for that project. We came in at a little over $75,000. There was also some additional costs there associated with the rental of a new unit. That put us into that, still within the 100,000 roughly. The biggest project.
So Sam, just so I'm clear, so with the repair of the Vactor and the rental that went along with it, you stayed within budget?
You were under budget 98.
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of the Vactor repair rental.
Yeah, with the Vactor repair and the rental that went along with while the Vactor was being repaired, you said the total spend for both of those together was under the budget of 100?
No, it would be just a smidge, probably over the 100,000
okay.
with the rental. I think it was 27,000, 26,000 additional ballpark on the rental.
Okay.
Obviously, the largest project we had this year was the paving project. We budgeted 1.5 million. So the paving included 2nd Street, Railway Avenue, and various patching to our community. By the end of the project, we were at just a shade under $1.3 billion. Unfortunately, we didn't have any more time to have Maple Leaf come back and get a little bit more work done. They were sort of tied up in Thompson. So some of it we're looking forward to hearing for some paving next year, specifically the local center parking lot.
So you're thinking wellness center parking lot, just so I'm clear, Sam, and just so everybody in the room's ears as well, so with that 200,000, little bit more next year, you'll target the wellness center parking lot to kind of finish off that make it look like it's finished?
Yes, sir, as part of our 2025 paving capital plan, we have a few other streets that we've identified that mayor and council have identified, as well as large members of the community.
Okay.
So we're targeting about another $1 million. Hopefully we can do about $1 million next year. We have to talk with the CFO to make sure that those dollars are there. Because as you guys are aware, the mobile depot are a significant cost to get people here towards traffic control. So there's a base cost of a little over $300,000 just to get them here and set up and on the side. concern of the public, as well as a priority for me. Also.
Yeah, and again, I just want to repeat what you said, so those that are potentially listening. So and this is what we talked to for provincial government about, if we want to do $1 million worth of road work in town, $300,000 of that is just to get the crew to come to town. That's without doing any work. So people have to understand is that you can't just bring this crew to town to do $400,000 worth of work. The budget needs to be larger to make it worthwhile. So 30% of your money is going to just travel.
And I don't want to get into a budget discussion right now, Sam. I'm just curious why we wouldn't stay at 1.5 again next year.
I don't know if we have that, those dollars in the gas tax for next year. Even the 1 million might be pushing it, to be honest. These are good discussions that need to have with, our controller, our CFO.
Yeah, and
just to make sure that we're.
I just hope that we are able to get the grants for the infrastructure.
well, I think Councillor Allen is right too. Like we have to look at what work has to be done and decide whether we're going to raise taxes either through grants, through the gas tax, or through taxation. So that's the sort of the question that we have to say. So the proposal coming from the administration, I know we're in a bit of a budget talk here, but the proposal should be coming with what you think we need to do next year.
I think we are working on
Correct.
that.
There are other tools that council can use in their tool bag in terms of road improvement levies and stuff, so.
Yeah.
After our discussions with the CFO, I think we'll probably have that meeting about just, to kind of dig deeper into that.
Yeah.
To kind of give you guys those options.
No, perfect. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, the next project on the list was the weed control. We budgeted 10,000 and, B&M helped us really stretch that right to the max of the 10,000. They made us sort of aware that the different species of weeds are growing at different times of the year. So they'd asked us, they stated that maybe the best use of our money was to split the project into 2 phases, which we did. And they did a lot more spraying in the second half than we had budgeted for, and kept it and promised to keep it on budget, which they did. So we really thank B&M for all that work. And in 2025, we'll probably bring forward a request for a contract, maybe a 3-year deal, just like we did with the flowers. That way we can continue the downtown movement. The next project on the list is the Civic Center front steps. So some work, as you guys can see, was already done this year. We want to remove the capping and redo some of the concrete work and then recap them again. So those are still slated to be completed this year, and we'll projecting it to be on budget. Another large project we have is the water treatment plant reassessment. This project is ongoing and is slated to kick off. We have a kickoff meeting October 21st with the contractors. And we've already sent them a lot of information and working with the water plant. So that is slated to be on track this year. And there's some potential cost savings hopefully coming out of recommendations from that regarding the use of our boilers. So this is an important project for us to complete, and also required for us to.
And Sam, with that new funding grant potential out there, would there be an opportunity, I think, to get something through there, maybe?
I'm sorry.
That infrastructure, that $42 million. Yeah, that $42 million for infrastructure grants, whatever it's called.
Sam, are you aware of the new grant?
I've seen the one that was just emailed, yeah. Yeah, we'll turn over every stone to help offset as many dollars as we can. The next, I don't know if you guys can still hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. The next project was the car lot fuel system. Again, this was to help us modernize our fuel system at the garage, do better tracking, better inventory management on our part. We budgeted $100,000 for this project. We are just about to get started on it. The contractor is expecting the materials to be delivered early November, and And then we're hoping by mid-November, they'll have a start date. They are still hopeful that this will get completed in the calendar year, so we're hoping that's correct. So we're anticipating it still as being a 2024 capital project. The next one is the garage fire alarm. We budgeted 40,000 for that. The invoices are just starting to roll in, so we don't really have a lot of invoices for that. We're expecting that to be on budget as well. The system currently is 99% installed. They're just doing some testing right now to bring it online, so we should have that in the next week or so. It should be fully online. The next item we have on there is our canceled item was regarding the meter exchange. Unfortunately, I was not able to make a compelling enough argument yet for that project, so we decided to kind of put it on the shelf until we do some more due diligence on that. It was a pretty expensive project, so it's just been put on the shelf for now. Now we have some carry forward items for 2025. The pool dehumidifier being one of them. We're really hoping to try to get this moving through this summer. However, there's significant delays on the project. One of the engineering people we were working with, unfortunately, has become very ill and has had significant issues with his illness. So unfortunately, on the engineering design side, we sort of missed our window because the delivery time on these units are very difficult to achieve. So we're hoping to still get a tender out for the procurement of the unit this year, because if we miss the December-January window of a tender, we still may not even receive the unit in time for next summer. So we're pushing to get the design to a point where we can tender out the unit and then start the plan for next summer. Another carry forward item was the solid waste expansion and feasibility. This was something that we decided to put on hold as we sort of wanted to work through our planning a little bit better. As we're all aware, the existing condition of the landfill needs improvement. And Management for Conservation reminds us of that every time they come and visit. So we're working on looking at expansion opportunities, but we believe that we need to start moving on this in 2025, because by the time we site a landfill, apply for permits and even break ground, we're, potentially 5 years away from actually constructing something. So we believe that we need to start making moves in the coming year in order to be ready for that. And the final item on the
Just 1 second, Town Councilor
maintenance
Atkinson.
training plan. Again, this was not something we could unfortunately get to this year. We did gather all the information regarding all of our units.
That's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just 1 second, there's a question for you.
We'll wait till he's done. It's okay. Yeah, she can.
Go ahead and finish now.
Finish your short report.
Go ahead.
Okay. So maintenance training plan, just unfortunately too many things going on to get that to where we want it to be. Also, we started talking with the contractor about just maybe a preventative maintenance program or doing a combination of both. So a little bit more work on our part before we can flesh that out. We didn't want to sort of jump into something that we didn't feel would be appropriate. A lot of other organizations locally are using a preventative maintenance program to bring in contractors to look at their units biannually. That could be significant in terms of savings and not have to spend $75,000 all at once for the plan. And then, so that's that. So, question.
On the completed project, Sam, what was the variance for the tandem? I didn't hear it for whatever reason. We budgeted what amount and what did we come out at?
We budgeted $160,000.
Yeah.
We came about $268,800.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, Sam. Not with the 300,000 on the paving that we're hoping you can earmark that for the wellness center paving next year. I was trying to keep track. What was your net under budget on the completed projects?
Yeah, right now. We budgeted 1.5 million on the paving. We came in at 1.277, so 223,000 roughly
No, I understand that when I'm talking about all the other projects together. Did you have a bottom line,
Total about 350.
what you're under?
167.
I
came to
Sorry, I do not have that total in front of me, I could quickly try to guess,
I
but,
think, I think the mayor was kind of keeping track and
I have it.
it's around 350,000. He thinks there's more than
Okay.
enough in there for railings and water coolers or
Yeah,
water fountains.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I was at
I have-
275 before that variance came in, which dropped me down to 167.
Again, we'll spend it. If he wants to spend it, we'll spend it. We have no problem with that, for sure.
Okay,
No, we appreciate that, Sam, and like I said, if it's important, and I think our community is looking for it, please ask us, because we'd rather say no to you than for you to say no, and when we are really there to support you.
I'll still volunteer to do the painting of the steps.
That'll cost you a lot of money probably.
Look after the rest of
Appreciate
your,
it.
I'll look after the rest of your surplus.
Maybe our recreation director can hold, some of the finer hot tips down and maybe shake some change out of them. So I hear they want to potentially help us with the water fountains as well.
Okay,
Okay.
Yes, so after that, the presentation slide really just shows some of the paving works, just a little, I think that I did a little video 10 beard is
Yeah.
put together as we drove, very slowly through that good street.
no, you guys did a great job this year, and again, over the last number of years, you can really start seeing the improvements, in the last 3 or 4 years sort of thing, where we're investing back in the community to get the asset back to where we are. I know that when you look at our asset management program, we're still miles and miles behind, but we can't stop spending and doing the right thing to protect the asset. My only question I would have on the paving though, Sam, are we gonna paint lines? To just split the lines like passing and no passing lines and stuff like that sometime?
So I asked that question actually when I first started in town, and I didn't really get a good answer regarding when the last time we actually painted lines. I was thinking of it because painting the lines, we'd have to contract that out, and that would be incredibly expensive. So it's definitely something we can look at. The other option we were sort of discussing internally is even if we just made markings at all the intersections, maybe just like little T lines to show people here's the center of the intersection, just to kind of keep you on your side, but also we think it'd be a nice safety component just to kind of show people where they're at, especially in the busy areas. But painting all the lines would have to be contracted, or it would be a significant cost, we believe. But obviously, if you guys want us to look at that, we can.
Well, it'd be interesting to know what the cost is, and also when those guys that are driving through town doing the lines already for highways, then maybe if we can piggyback on them being in town and paying for a day or two for them to drive around town and paint.
I don't know what's ever been done.
No,
Problem is, once you do it, you gotta keep doing it.
I actually thought it was done.
I think the lines by the intersections where the stop sign is, indicating where you stop, something like that, when they're doing.
Oh, okay.
That would be lots.
Oh, maybe, yeah, I actually thought it was the opposite. I thought it was actually done. Okay, anyways,
I
no,
was trying to think back when I was younger, and I don't recall, but you're right, once we start painting it, the next big,
Okay.
we have to.
then skip
We
that.
think some brake lines just along, major intersection areas, where people are turning off of Cathedral or off of Dufferin, or not Dufferin, but, 7th Street, just to so you can kind of see where you're at.
Okay.
I think it would be a good idea. The next slide that we have, just highlighting some of our equipment and some of the other capital projects. So you have a picture of our beautiful tandem, the Vector, I promise you that's not a leak underneath the picture of the Vector, this is the washroom. And the SCADA system, the lead control, one of the new trucks, and the garage alarm system. And then the final slide is just a thank you to council, because you guys are the ones that are giving us the dollars to do this project, do these projects. So thank you for letting us read this.
Where are the hearts?
I'm gonna buy you guys some candy hearts when I come back.
Okay, hold them to that. Okay, Jomar.
Here. So starting with our wellness center, moving on to slide 2, actually. One of our big projects was the court floor project. Big Sky, who actually happened to be the original installer of the floor, ended up winning that bid. We budgeted 100,000 for that project, and we came in at 40,000 actually. The reason for that was actually the preliminary estimates for that really varied from 100,000 up to 200 actually, and Big Sky came in at well under that. Also didn't have to shut our facility down to do it over the week and a half period that they did. Very fast. Team of 5 came and did it over a weekend. They had cut down there. You can see it's cut down in the first kind of little picture on the top left. The next team of 3 came in the next week and painted the lines, taped the lines off, and then they sealed it on the Thursday. It didn't even take them actually 10 business days. I think it was 8 in total. So didn't have to close the facility, just lost use of the court for 2 weeks, and we were good to go.
And that has to happen how often?
So that the span of a gym floor is usually 15 to 25 years. For 15 probably for a school. He said for ours 25, as long as we're doing our maintenance every 2 years, which I'm getting them to do every 2 years. So they'll do a little buff every 2 years, recoat it, and we'll stay on top of that. So they did a really good job. Safety of the courts by far above expectations. So everyone's really happy with that. Moving on to the next slide, new piece of equipment called the tank. It's also been dubbed as Frank. So this actually helps save the floor too. We used to have what is called prowlers that Andre would have to be well known to use, as they were actually donated by the CKPI. At the time it was Toko. And as good as those machines were, they didn't help our floor and the longevity of the floor. With this device now, it saves our floor and also makes it more user friendly for people that don't need to have to actually bring weights to use it, to utilize it. It's run by magnets, and the tension is it works on a ratio based system where if Tanvir is pushing it at 1 kilometer an hour and I'm pushing it 2 on the same tension, it's going to be harder for me to push because I'm pushing it faster. So it's actually, the harder you work, the harder you have to work against the machine.
Or the other way around.
Or the other way around, yes. So you could work less and it'll not be as hard. But so that's how Tanvir likes it. So moving on to the next one there, the Octane Lateral X. So this is a new version of an elliptical. You can see it's not your typical range of motion. So it triples as a unit that you can use as a stepper, a normal elliptical, and you can see in the video that goes side to side almost in a skating motion. So this is a big deal for us to have this. We have 2 units of this actually in our facility now. It replaces the old ones that have been there since day 1 that were at the end of their life. So these have got really good reviews, and I'm really happy to have them in the building. The next slide here is the stadium lighting at the Ball Diamonds. We finished this here just before the season started and had a programmable timer attached to it so that it goes on regularly for the scheduled times. It eliminates someone having to come in and turn on the lights for someone. So as long as we're well aware of the times that are requested, we're able to do that and set it up. It's in a lockbox that I go myself and program it for everyone. It's just set for the summer, pretty much, unless someone wants it on in a different evening. So it was well used this summer. It's one big upgrade for that field, and we'd like to do more to that field as well, and all the other diamonds for that matter. So you'll see another one coming up here at the end. Our next one, this ties in. Actually, this one's finished technically in 2023, but it's tied in with our ball diamond lighting. Just a walking path, but it provides a ton of light back there for safety, and then we can also tie that into the winter project plan. If we want to do lighting back there, there are units on there to attach lighting to, so that's done more seamlessly.
I was gonna ask that, Jomar, so do you have plans for a winter park back there and some?
Yeah, slowly, like, so that was the first step of it, because we needed power back there, so if we wanna tie in, we have those units to tie into. When we did the project, we made sure that was an option, and then we also laid more lines. So we could tie into that, the overall winter park project was, the vision of it was originally to have like a skating path and realistically, like that was a big pipe dream. At the time of COVID, we had staff that would be able to manage that, but at the same time, like when we got out of COVID, realistically, I don't think we can manage doing that.
We can't manage piling snow and plowing the road and having the.
No, making the path, it's not something that I think that would be realistic, and even like to lay a path of water all through the fields is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
Okay.
It would be managing that, so I think it would be difficult. It's not out of the question. It's just, I'm not sure we have enough staff to manage getting it even done in time, that kind of thing. But I think there's other options to go in the same direction and have the same type of theme in that park area. That doesn't necessarily have to be that, but having the outdoor rink there is still obviously an option. It's always there. Maybe having another path somewhere, or even the track, just something that's more manageable. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think just with the amount of snowfall we might get or might not get, like last year, it's difficult to predict if we're able to keep up with the work to keep that service going.
Well, if Thunder and Sam had a skid steer with tracks, they build
I think that's in
with a
there.
brush on the front.
So it's a few baby steps. I think if we can build on something each year to get towards that, I think it's definitely doable. Just we have to kind of go slow and not bite off too much. Moving on to the next project. So the camera project is well underway. The garage is fully outfitted with new cameras. They're doing the arena right now. It's about 75% done. And then they'll move on to the wellness center, and then the civic center. So the quality of the cameras has been great. So this project also came well under budget. It's budgeted for 70. We came in at around 40 as well. So we'll utilize probably most of that to make sure we maximize the usage of the cameras and the safety of our communities with those cameras, adding it to potentially also the pool and more around here downtown and around.
Yeah, I would love to see some cameras downtown or in park areas where that, just having that eye in the sky sort of thing and holding people honest. As well as when it comes to the lighting part, lighting those areas up in town where there's a lot of things happening that shouldn't be happening, you know, that's gonna help.
Yeah, I definitely want to look at doing more lighting in other spots, not just the walking path that's behind the wellness center, but try to extend that on through the whole path. So
Yeah, that'd be
little bits
awesome.
at a time would be good to accomplish. Moving on to our next slide, the turf line project. So like I touched on before, we're trying to upgrade our ball diamonds for that community. So we received this product last week. And they did a great job getting it to us. The owner of the company, the father actually just passed away this past summer. And the daughter had taken over, and she's been quite busy trying to get the business going and making sure there's been manufacturing from the States. And she was able to do a great job of getting us the product before snowfall. We're looking to install it this week. So they were supposed to start today. We had some issues at the pool where we weren't able to get all our staff over there to start installing, but we will be starting probably tomorrow. Our next slide. So just to touch on the stuff that's in progress. Already Sam and Tanvir, they touched on the dehumidifier, so I won't touch too much on that. Other than that, if you guys don't have any questions.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions, Jomar. So with the parks this year and the challenges we had, so what do you see going into 2025? Like, what did we learn and how can we make sure we're not in that challenge again next year?
I think for the most part, like looking at the parks and taking over maintenance, over the summer while Kelsey was gone, I feel like we have a lot of parks that aren't used, so it'd be nice to put our focus on the parks that are being used and kind of decommission the other ones into green spaces that can still be used for other things, but not necessarily, a play structure. So, we see kind of the back of the wellness center as just evolving into a space where a lot of kids are using the skate parks there, the outdoor rinks there, the skate parks right there, the tracks there, and the basketball courts there. So to try and evolve and make those courts and those places usable, more family friendly, and there's a number of projects that we have on the go there that, obviously they're on this presentation, but for 2025 that we're looking at doing. So, I think putting our focus on those ones is something that we want to do. And then staying on top of, you know, the grass cutting. I know Trent has issues with that, and I think if we can get more staff next year, I'd like to do that. That will help me, and I think the staff actually did a really good job for us. There was a lot of stuff thrown our way, a lot of stuff thrown my way that we were able to stay on top of, and I still think we can still do better, so.
Is with the staff, so do you have the appropriate equipment, like you guys need more equipment?
Like I said, I've only done it for the summer. I think the equipment's there. I think it's just the amount of staff that we have that get pulled in different directions, so I get probably 3 or 4 emails a day where they're either complaints or just significant things to touch on. And if I have 2 crews that are working, and our maintenance crew, if they're doing daily things, day-to-day stuff, and I have to pull them off of that, then, and to do take care of those 3 or 4 emails that I get a day, then the stuff that they're regularly doing kind of gets lost in the shuffle. We want to go attend to those things. So obviously prioritizing things, is important. And when we get those complaints, we really want to make sure that our citizens are being looked after. So when we go touch on those things, yes, we get those things done, but then we fall behind a little bit on, say, the parks maybe. And then, you know, that's where overtime comes in and we get a little bit behind. But I think for the most part, we stayed on top of things, but I think like even just having 2 or 3 more people on the green team, that'll help a lot.
And a couple other things I had. So what do you like at the pool? Because that's such a significant asset for us in this community.
Yeah.
What do you see any threats or concerns with that facility? I know we've done the engineering study where structurally it's good, but.
Yeah, I don't see any threats in terms of structure or the facility itself. Where I see the threat is just losing the user groups using it. You know, an example would be obviously KFC. They had pulled out some regular school lessons, but they've kind of got back on, not quite as much as they used to in the past, but they're there. OLC, they were a big user of the facility, but they have completely dropped off. Their direction is that they're not to use any of the facilities that aren't OCN. So that's unfortunate. Even some of the teachers that tried to schedule this year had to renege on scheduling some of their stuff.
Have we touched bases with them? Why are they?
We have, yeah, and there hasn't been much response, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. I can't really speak to that, so we've reached out, both myself, Kelsey, and even Candace, we're trying to recruit, and we'd love for them they know they're welcome to come back, and we'll make room for their school. But as of now, we just know that their direction is that they're not to use the facilities exactly.
The other thing I was wondering, with regards is how does like for day camps, like was the turnout for that this year with?
Yeah, I think it was about the same as last year. We actually had quite a full roster, but not always showing up. So whether they showed up or not, we were still taking in that revenue, so that was a good thing. We had a fairly nice summer, so I'm not sure if families were just not bringing their kids sometimes, even though that they were moving forward.
Are there drop-ins?
There is drop-ins, yeah. So sometimes we're over, like, but we'll often take the drop-in, even though we're supposed to be full,
Yeah.
because some families aren't bringing their kids in, yeah.
And the last one that I had, because it's been a significant change for us, the additional of the blizzard in the building.
Yeah.
How is that going from your side as the rec
Yeah.
director?
I have no complaints. I think the organization is running really well. Eric, PA, Rob, they've all been easy to work with, easy to talk to. Obviously, I work with Eric on a day-to-day basis. I see him all the time, and then obviously I'm on the ice with him a couple times a week too. So I think the impact they are having on the community has been great. They're in the wellness center as well, and I know we've had some feedback, some a little bit negative from members just on how busy it can get when they're in there, but at the same time, it's a good thing, and they adjust, and I give them the feedback as well, and they're open to adapting to some of the complaints that they get with that. So no issues on my side. The communication's wide open, even better than last year, I think, and now that things are kind of winding up for the season, and they've had a year under the belt, I think it's been great.
Good. Any other questions for recreation? Yeah.
How many bat wings do we have? We have one.
One,
One.
I believe one.
So is there,
Can you confirm that? Is this one?
Yeah, just
One, okay.
do you need to have a special skill or driver's license in order to drive the bat wing? And if you don't, if we had another bat wing, would we have somebody who could operate it?
You say Batman has to drive.
Batman.
Sam's on the line.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Again, you got the right.
You want to?
Yeah, no special license, no special license required. Obviously, there's a finesse to it. And I know, and I didn't really get a chance to talk in depth about the equipment with Joe Martin. We're having the mechanics sort of go through them right now, just as we're preparing for budget, just to see. There was some concerns over the power that was being outputted by the mapping.
Okay.
So what we're gonna try to do is to determine, you know, do we need another unit? If we're gonna buy a tracked skid steer, you know, is there a mowing attachment that would be appropriate that could go on there? We're looking at different things. Manpower wise, also something that we talked about at the beginning of the year when rec is getting hammered the most with grass, you know, as it's growing continuously. Maybe Public Works can send a laborer or two over during that time frame to help sort of, because the workload goes heavy for recreation and sort of drops off with the grass cutting, you know, kind of 3/4 through the summer, it slows down. So if we can do a blitz of additional staffing to help them on the front end, you know, it should alleviate some of the backlog that you're facing.
So that machine isn't operated on a daily basis then? How many, like, okay, per week? How many days would that machine leave and be on? You know, this doesn't have to be answered tonight. But I'm just curious to know how often that machine is out.
I would say in the spring, when grass is growing at its worst, is every day.
Almost every day. There's certain sections that you can't up with it. So it's gonna be predominantly used in our riverfront green spaces
Okay.
and our baseball diamonds and soccer fields will be the predominant sport.
Are you trying to lead this into the question,
Sounds
are we
like-
gonna be more efficient if we have another one?
Well, always, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Always, like if another one makes it more
They are
efficient.
quite expensive, but yeah,
But-
we're definitely gonna have it sit down, the rec director, myself, and Mayor, after we speak with our mechanics regarding kind of where we at with the quality of what we have. Because if we tell you everything's gonna be fine, and then all of a sudden 2 units go down, you know, 1 month into grass cutting, then we're not gonna be fine. So
Yeah,
we just kind of need to know where we're at with that.
I think where I was going more so with this was if we could hire somebody specifically who's not gonna get pulled to Public Works, who's not gonna get pulled to go pick garbage, but if we could find somebody specifically to run that machine so that all our grass is like always done.
I feel like Councillor Atkinson is eavesdropping on our conversation, you know, we literally had that conversation, I think a day or so ago,
No,
regarding hiring a few turf people. Something that we've noticed as well, like,
right.
I don't know, if it's with global warming or just the temperature swings that we're dealing with. Our parks are still active now going into, you know, potentially into November. Whereas when the summer students go back to school end of August, you know, that was sort of almost a wrap of the season. And then we didn't have a junior team in our rink. We're not putting ice in until, you know, September. So we had staffing flexibility for a lot longer than we currently do. So we're talking about hiring potentially a couple of term people.
Well, yeah, not to cut you off, but
In the fall to look after everything else. for
Yeah.
us too.
those are the details I guess we'll be looking forward to when we talk about budget. I'll try, Counselor Allen, has a question as well.
Yeah, this probably kind of, I guess, goes more towards the budget that's coming up, but just question for Jomar, you mentioned about decommissioning the parks, due to lack of usage. How are you monitoring usage?
Actually, that's a good question. We're not looking at it as far as, how many kids are using it every day to day. It's more how busy or the other parks are, like the Spray Park, and Terry Fox, the bigger parks, I guess. So the ones that I know get used more regularly, do we need, I think it's a total of nine total parks. Do we need those other ones? I would argue no, the smaller ones. So it's just more of a matter of these ones are being used more. So that's how I see it. And I guess a matter of opinion, but I do see, like, obviously. I think it's always used a lot. Top Lot's used a lot with the new structure there. And I know Terry Fox, as that's going up too, was used quite a bit. So, those are the main ones I know that we would always go to as kids. Those are the ones my kids would go to, so.
I'm just thinking that if we ever did move towards decommissioning anything, those in the area are gonna probably raise a bit of a stink.
Yeah.
We should have something, in terms of numbers in place before we proceed down that road.
And I also think it's what equipment's in those parks that attracts people, so a park that's aged is not gonna get that. Did you have something, Counselor? Okay, so, no, thanks for that, guys, and I know we asked you a bunch of questions, but, you know, it's really good, I know that, thanks, man. I know that, that's what our community members are looking to hear about, that kind of stuff, so.
Just, Jomar, you're finished?
Yeah.
Just, and if there wasn't any more questions, what if we could move ahead from unfinished business to general business for Counselor?
No, I think he likes sitting here and then he enjoys.
There now and have 4 minutes.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm actually smiling, I keep looking over at him and smiling.
Uncomfortable seats.
Yes, no, we can do that. Let's jump ahead here, and get the RCMP, I don't think there's gonna be much to talk about there anyway.
Your report.
Come on over, Sergeant Stark. I know we looked at your, report and see our standard busy area in the community is the downtown area, where we get a lot of, disturbance of the peace and mischief and, those type of things. I also talked a little bit about it earlier with regards to, the number of hard vacancies and soft vacancies and stuff. You wanna give us any sort of update on how you're managing all that sort of stuff and?
Not much to really update. We manage it the best we can with what we have. Our members are taking on more and more workloads for the vacancies that provide or are there. Not much we can say about it. It is unfortunate, but.
Are you seeing like anything with like crazy amounts of overtime with your staff or? Like,
Yeah, there's overtime pretty much on a daily basis. We are. Yeah, quite frankly, it's on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiples. We get with, sick time, vacation, those kind of things. We've been holding off, trying to, keep our membership working while we can and preventing them from, going out and doing, training and things like that. But we have to move forward on that. We can't expect them to always just be working and not providing the training. We have lots of new people that need that training. So we're trying to get them to get that expertise to bring it back to the community. And when we do that, of course, we have to fill the voids and, we do that through overtime and the members that are there.
Sergeants, so you're saying like we're supposed to have, what did we say, 23 positions?
23 listed positions, that's
And we're
including
sitting-
NCOs and constables.
And you're sitting right now about 13?
12, I
12 or
believe.
13, yeah.
Yeah, we had just lost 2 in the last month.
So again, we do appreciate, all the hard work you guys are doing out there, and I know, it's, again, as Councillor Hopper said earlier, we're advocating on your behalf and, And I know I've communicated to you with regards to our communications going to justice and stuff, so. Does anybody have any further questions or concerns, comments regards to counselors or Sergeant Stark's report?
Any forecast for cadets coming here this year?
We've got November 11th, one cadet that's been identified to come. We were supposed to have what was called an EPO, an experienced police officer. The EPO position has collapsed. There were some issues on the far end of it. So they won't be coming up as they were originally planned.
Is that different from reservists?
Yeah, the reservist is only allowed to work, they're members that have retired that have come back to work with the RCMP, and they're only able to work, I think, a 6-month period. The EPOs are coming from different police forces that are now joining the police, the RCMP, as an experienced police officer from a different force. They go through training, which is a little bit quicker and less in depth as if you were to have no training experience or policing experience, and they get out into the field a lot quicker. And we're able to utilize them in the detachments as experienced police officers. They just have to get the nomenclature and working of the RCMP, say, versus what are they, police service or something along those lines.
For the reservists, they're mandated up to 6 months.
Depends. I think I'm not 100%, but it's generally around that six month time frame that they're able to work without penalty, I think is what it is.
Penalty on pension and all.
Exactly. Yeah. We have had some success. We've had quite a few relief workers that have come up. The RCMP has identified people from down south in our 2 other districts that are able to come up and work, let's say, a week at a time. So they come up here and do that. And now they've just changed it, and we've got 28 days comments. So essentially, members from the east and west districts are able to come identify and then come up and work for 28-day period. A little bit misleading in the fact that 28 days when you add in your time off, actually is only about 14, but yeah, the 2 blocks of 7 days would much like throughout your fall. That helps us out a little bit. It gets them a little bit more involved in the community. They are able to take on a lot more files and take the workload off the membership versus only being up here for 5 days and just being backup support. And then the file's still maintained by the members. So this should help alleviate a little bit of the stress on the members, but still, it's not like we have the bodies that are here full-time for years to come kind of thing, so.
Thanks.
Okay.
I have a couple questions just for clarification. I don't know if you can actually answer this, Colin. So when we are paying our 3.5 million, are we paying like 100% of the wages for RCMP? Is that, yeah?
Yeah.
So then when it comes to overtime, we're on the hook for all that overtime, even though we're not responsible for staffing levels. So
We're responsible for the cost operating the RCMP, however it works out.
So even though we have no say in the staffing levels and the fact that we're 11 members short, it's still that overtime that those members will be covering. I assume there's a lot of overtime due to that. We're behind that.
Yeah.
Hopefully at the end of the year, it's not too far out of whack because of the shortage of full-time members versus the overtime.
Yeah, and you gotta keep in mind too, is that you've got a pretty significant overhead there with regards to the building and all the other stuff that goes along with, so staffing is one thing, but.
Well, that was actually my next question is the formula for the rent of the detachment is based upon the number of members in the building. That's correct?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this is years ago that I went over this, but I believe that as the number of members went down, our rent went up. So when we're at 12 members for a 23-member detachment, we're actually paying more as a result of that. So I would love to know exactly how much we should be paying if we were fully staffed versus how much we are paying based upon having this number of members.
I know how much we should be paying. We should be paying $1 million a year. That's what we should be doing. Just like other municipalities, the same size as ours.
Yeah, well,
But we
I'm
have
talking based upon our.
we have a service, a provincial policing agreement we're one of 11 municipalities in Manitoba that actually have it. And that's.
I think Councilor Allen's got a point there. Just on the accommodation that we're paying, the rent, and then there is a formula in there based on number of members. Theoretically, that should be going down. If we're short of 12 members. Theoretically, but I'm not sure what, I can't remember what's in the agreement.
Yeah, so we can ask, that's a question that Laura can follow up with there, because she gets, billing from, so that's something that we should ask Laura. Is that with the impact on membership, the number of members, what's the actual cost? I have the actual invoicing as I've seen it, and I don't believe the invoicing changes based on the number of members you have. I believe there's a flat fee for like, there's a pool cost, so that they have all these pool costs that are all collected together, and then you have your detachment single cost. But Laura should be able to get us that information.
I respect the question, I just don't have the
Yeah.
answer from my standpoint, it's a little bit over my pay grade, so I apologize.
Just, it seems like we have, a lot of things as Councillor Hopper mentioned earlier, a lot of things falling off the plate in terms of, enhancements, I guess, to bring members in, the remote detachment. There was a 3 kilometer difference, and we would have that remote detachment allowance. I mean, little things like that, but they don't seem to really want to listen to us on, and yet we're the ones footing the bill here. And it certainly sounds like at the end of the day, I don't think it'd be wrong to say we're out of whack by $1 million or $2 million. And that's a lot of money every year that we're, 2.5, if that number's correct, 2.5 every year that we're out of whack. I think we could do a lot of paving and a lot of improvements in our communities with that kind of money.
Yeah, no, I completely agree 100%.
It's not deterring anything on the service you're giving, it's just you're fighting the same battle we are.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but you're absolutely correct in that, you know, we've tried it from both in the inside of the RCMP to fight that IP, trying to get it back, and it just was an absolute no-go every time, so.
And I don't definitely want to put a pressure on anybody, but we have the MM in 40 days, so it'd be lovely to get that number before we were in.
Yeah, and I remember we did submit a very detailed report with regards to that's actually sitting with the federal government that AMM did on our behalf and used us as so that's something that we can follow up with, while we're down there for sure. But again, I don't know what they're, no, it's something we can do for sure.
Zero fault to you.
Yeah, no, it's not, this is not a local detachment issue.
One thing I can tell you is, the membership that we do have in place you can just imagine, they're doing the work with 4 different people, 4 different units. I don't know how to explain it, other than the fact that you are definitely getting your bang for the buck out of the members that are here.
Yeah,
They're going way over, beyond and above to provide a service to this community, not because they have to, it's because they need to and they want to.
Yeah.
And, yes, it would be great if we could have more members, and of course, we need those more members, and we're fighting strongly for them. But please don't ever think that the membership that you have here is leaving you in the lurch. I can promise you that they are doing things that just blow my mind pretty much on the daily, and going above and beyond, so.
I think you have to start looking after yourself. You are not your normal jovial, smiley, rosy cheeks. It's wearing on you. You can see that.
Yeah,
So-
there's a lot to the job, that's for
Every
sure.
member
But
is
thank you.
under the same pressure, and you're at the end of it. You're taking it all. So
Yeah.
good
Big
luck.
shoulders, I guess that's what the ground's for.
all right, well, thanks, for hanging around, tonight, Colin. I mean, we appreciate that, and we do appreciate everything you and all your members are doing, so.
We appreciate the support our council gives to us, pretty much on the daily, so thank you for all your services with us as well.
Our next discussion is actually gonna be on speed school signs, and so talking about dropping the speed limit in town to 40 kilometers an hour and adding stop signs and maybe putting in 30 kilometer an hour. Got any feedback on that
Around school zone.
around schools?
I think it's a great opportunity to, increase safety in those categories or in those areas. If I'm to be truthful, having the membership to get out there, to actually enforce it is, I don't want to say difficult, but at the end of the day, I think, you guys all realize what level of priorities we are dealing with in this community, and a lot of it is extremely high priority.
And
It would fall, I think, on our traffic unit, to be frank, for them to be in those areas. Whether they're able to commit to that, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I think it's a great idea safety wise. Can we have a member there every day? I don't think
So
so.
speaking about on the traffic unit, today's rules, so we hear stories that people break the rules today with 50 kilometers an hour and I think about, okay, well, we're not doing anything today about 50, putting it at 40 really doesn't do much of it, and throwing a stop sign there, we don't have anybody enforcing it. Just really just put you more on your honor system. Is it possible we could get a message to, I know we've talked already before, is it possible to get a message to the traffic unit to say times and school opening times and just a drive-by, just because I think if we catch one person doing something wrong, yeah.
I don't see that there's an issue with that at all. I definitely bring that forward to them. The other thing, well, I will speak to just from my personal experience being from the traffic units before, when you're dealing around the school times, especially like your drop-offs and your pickup times, it gets very chaotic and hectic in those areas. And as much as you want to try and enforce it, by enforcing it, you almost create chaos
Okay.
way in excess, right? So not only are you got bus lights flashing, now you got police lights
Oh, yeah,
flashing,
yeah.
you're blocking an intersection. Not to try and deviate
No, it
from
makes sense.
thought, but quite often that's exactly what happens. And then the likelihood to grow that's that much higher, especially around the kids. So just something to keep
Yeah.
into consideration. When it comes to enforcing in the schools, not to say that we can't do it or we won't do it, it's just we have to be.
No, I wouldn't do it every day, but yeah, I'm gonna drive around, that's always helps.
Just for the people that are watching this, you can't really see that Sergeant has been winking quite a bit, so I do think there's gonna be some enforcement
Yeah.
at the school, so be on guard.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you for having me.
If you think about Kelsey School, if you do Hogan and Settee, I'm not sure why we need to do Stewart and Hout or whatever. Yeah, you know, and the same thing with on Opascua, you know, if we do main, well, do you need to do the Main Street? Or do you just do you just do constant and that's it? Because in reality, there's not kids crossing the road on Gordon Avenue.
Not down to Michael's.
And at Michael's, there's a controlled crosswalk and lights and stuff, so. You know, I don't know, but maybe what we could do is maybe we could ask because we would need to understand what the cost, and I think with looking at some of the savings we have and what we didn't spend this year, maybe there's a potential to use some of that unspent budgeted money for this year. But maybe we could get just an idea on what it would cost per street. And maybe we start by saying, let's do a couple of streets to start off with and sort of try to, instead of circulating, you know, doing 4 streets around the school. I don't know, just a thought.
Let's do the north-south and
I would go as far as to say do all of it, and then what would look like with just the streets that don't have some sort of traffic control already.
Yeah.
A lot of streets, there's just got one block between the 2 stop signs.
Yeah,
You don't need it there, but
Yeah.
constant where you don't have a stop sign, you'd be for a block or 2, that's.
yeah, it's a T,
Yeah,
you know, and you know, you've got a T Hogan. You know, I don't, like Cook Avenue or Mary Duncan, I don't really see anything unless you wanted to do it on 3rd or 1st or whatever that street's called.
There's a school zone sign.
Yeah, and even
You can't
American,
reduce
we're
that there.
putting in the loading zone there, which is for the little ones and then the older kids.
And they have an actual crosswalk,
Yeah.
lighted crosswalk with flashing lights, so yeah, so maybe if we could just get that. Bull, just kind of an idea, and then make that presentation to council, and the council could say, yeah, let's do that, and let's move forward with that if we have the money. Does that make sense, guys?
With actual costs, yeah.
Yeah, with some costs, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, trapper sign, so, yeah, I'm not sure I'd take that thing to the city. To be honest with you, because that seemed to be quite a big exercise to load that thing down. I would think that there would be some even potential local artists to just take a picture. I have no, I think Chuck Lewis,
Yeah, I was gonna say Jacqueline, sorry.
yeah. But I think if we take a picture, we have pictures of it in the museum, of what it looks like. I think we were gonna just replicate what it used to look like.
Yeah.
And hire a local artist to just do it.
just on, I think I don't know if I sent you an email or not. Selkirk just refurbished theirs. There was a program, on CBC radio.
Yeah.
Go up there and they were talking about different landmarks and they actually mentioned the trapper sign. There is somebody that goes to the community, refurbishes them.
Yeah.
And, the CAO of Selkirk, whoever that, can't remember the individual.
Dwayne.
If you're to contact him, put us in contact with the person that did theirs. Here, what's it gonna cost? He would come here. He
Yeah.
would, and refurbish the neon lighting, the painting, get a price on it.
And then apply to destination marketing, apply to all these other places so that town, because we don't own that sign. Like, it's not our sign and I'm not in favor of spending money on that sign. It's not ours.
Oh, I think he wants to give it to us all.
Well, we'll get it for $1 if there's a
Well,
plan
it's
to
not ours.
refurbish it and put it somewhere.
And then it becomes a cost.
Yes,
But
Yeah.
they're part of the
That
community.
needs to be taken on, like Chamber of Commerce could take this on as well. There's multiple other organizations who we can try and tie into this, so it's not just falling on town of Quad.
let's find out what
Yeah.
it's gonna cost to
Yeah.
refurbish and then make the plan.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised they didn't mention it on the trapper sign and the paw. I haven't seen it for a while,
Yeah.
obviously.
So you know Dwayne Nickel, he's the CAO of, in Selkirk.
Yes.
So I introduced you to him before. I would just call them and see what they've done there. But the end of the day is I don't want us to be sitting here in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years from now, or whoever's sitting at this table. And they're getting ready to tear down the trapper sign, because, just like, and they say, see, they did the same thing with the trapper sign as they did to the Skippy Elm.
Well, and once we find out the cost to refurbish it, then we put it out there, community interest, you wanna save the sign? Or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, exactly right. It's an
There's a
important,
lot of interest in it.
it's an important landmark for sure.
Okay, yes, I was just, I've already.
Okay, the only other thing, so I put in their town hall meeting, so this is sort of a little bit of a dry run here tonight, but, what I would like us to do is have a meeting offsite, somewhere where it's accessible, whether the arena or someplace like that, at the multipurpose room. And for our staff to present what we've done on our strategic plan. We can kind of explain our strategic plan to our community members that show up. We can buy some donuts and coffee. So pick a date, 13th or the 21st, and pick a time.
I have a convocation on the 13th.
So 21st at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock? 7?
For community members.
So we will plan the 21st at 7 PM. And what we'll do over the next short while is we'll start preparing the agenda. I would like to have a bit of a question and answer period if anybody, hopefully our community members come where they can ask council what's going on, what's happening, what's has happened. And yeah, we can go from there.
You're talking November?
November 21st, yeah, 7 PM.
And make it, I'm on my own, my business.
Try your best. Is there another time, Larry?
The only days I'm on is on Mondays and Tuesdays. Skip it daytime, anytime I would be able to do it, but at night. With the town the way it is, I can't leave my wife by herself at home.
What about, do you guys wanna go for the 18th, the Monday?
That works for me.
Monday the 18th? Monday the 18th?
Yeah.
Monday the 18th at 7 o'clock then. It's supposed to be at the wellness center, the multipurpose room. Just because it's easy to get at and easy for people and there's people around, so they might come. But that's where we'll target right now. So the 18th, BOA at 7 PM,
Yes.
November. Perfect. Okay, lake lot signage. So what I understand, the signs are all here. Tanvir, you kind of give me an update before the meeting tonight. You want to just explain what your plans are?
So already requested for locates, LMPS and the hydro, and as soon as we get the locates, we will sort of come up with the layout. for the signs to be put on properties, and then we'll rent out a post digger or auger, and we'll go there and sort of dig a hole and install the signs.
So next couple of weeks, sort of thing?
We're planning to do that.
Yeah.
So the town will be doing the installs?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the time? Because I'm.
That's right in there, that's what I was asking.
November?
Because the law is coming on October 17th, and we need some time to plan for the at least 2 or 3 days of law days.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's gonna be done within the next few weeks, before winter comes anyway, so.
Highly likely.
Perfect. General correspondence, we did the RCMP report. Okay, so we are, I think, no other citizens here. So we will go to committee of the whole.
Resolved that we now move ourselves into the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
Okay, I guess everybody's read through that draft bylaw, very detailed, with regards to fire, so I appreciate Byron's efforts there. He did really outline, one of the things when I looked at it was I wanted to ensure that when we talk about the purpose on section 7, that we were actually trained to do all that work, and he says that we are. We train towards those standards, so it should be good. I think that, you know, if possible, unless there's questions tonight, for our first reading of this bylaw, Byron should be present, and then if council has questions at that time, they can get them on the first reading. I mean, look at both bylaws, it's very detailed.
That would be good because Baron is coming next council meeting.
Okay.
For presentation, so it will be the same time with this.
Okay.
Do you want to let's take a couple minute break. We'll let, Councillor use, facilities. 2012. Yeah, so that, we'll just give this something. Were we with the shutdown? Oh, what? Are they shut down today? Okay.
Yeah, and that needs mixed up. No.
I read your report.
That was a really, really good, really good. I don't know what the difference. Look at what I have.
That was him.
Yeah.
That was me closing case.
That was you making him believe?
Sort of.
Are we paused or no?
Yeah.
There's no way that we can cut the feed.
That's okay.
No, that's. Okay, so let's get rolling here again.
Yep.
So, Next one is, so we're good with the fire prevention. We'll bring a resolution next meeting, to accept that draft bylaw, and then Counselor, or then, Byron will be, our fire chief will be here to answer any questions if anybody has. Meeting date change, so we have AMM, that's gonna be a conflict at the end of the month. I'm suggesting we move our meetings, in December to the December 2nd and December 16th. Because our second meeting in December was the 23rd of December. So it gives us 2 meetings in December, and so we're not too far of a break between the last meeting and the next one. So we're gonna be down 1 meeting, but if everybody's okay with that, I think it should work still, and
Second and 16th.
2nd and 16th. Does that work for you guys? So we'll make a resolution to do that. You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Because the 23rd is, nobody's gonna wanna meet on the 23rd anyways. And then, so the meeting while we're at AMM, there will only be 1 meeting in November. The second, the second Monday.
I think the second Monday's Remembrance Day, so probably.
Sorry, it's the 12th. So in November, our meeting will be the 12th. The 25th meeting will be canceled. It will be moved to the December 2nd, and then there won't be a meeting on December 9th. The next meeting will be on December 16th. There won't be a meeting on December 23rd. And then back into the new year, it's back to regular 13th and 27th and stuff.
So then, sorry, now I'm gonna go back to November 18th. Do we need to do a special meeting for that? Do we need to call that like a special meeting?
No, because it's a community presentation. We're not doing any business.
Okay.
there. We're not doing any
Okay.
business at that meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, there won't be, we're not passing resolutions or anything. It's a town hall meeting.
okay, so we're not calling to order anything?
No, we're not, they're not gonna be,
Okay,
Just ordering donuts.
yeah, just ordering donuts and. Okay, so that's good with that. We'll have a resolution for that. We've already dealt. So the next thing that Bola's put on the agenda is this grant match. Do you want to share sort of what your thoughts are there, Bola?
Yes, I was actually waiting for her to join, but I'll quickly do a little bit of summary about the Grant Match. Grant Match is a company that does grant application. They find the grant, they apply for the grants, and after the application, it with no cost to the municipal whosoever they apply for. We are not paying anything. But when the application got approved, we have to pay, they take out 10%.
Of our portion or the whole grant?
Of the whole grant. If it is $1 million, they take 10%.
Of the grant that's provided,
Grant that is applied.
not the matching.
Not the matching one.
Yeah.
If it is a 2 million project and it's 50%, so
Yeah.
they take, but anything above $1 million from the approved grant, they take 5%. So they've worked for a couple of municipals, so we are trying to kind of talking to them. We've reached out to about 3 communities and they've given success story about them. But she's supposed to join this meeting now and I'm not seeing her connecting. So that's the information.
Maybe, so they were gonna join us?
Yes, then she's supposed to be here and do a presentation. She has a PowerPoint here.
Yeah, so maybe what we could do is we'll just do it at the next meeting then, because I do have some questions and I would like to hear from them.
Okay.
So I think there's good potential there, but, you know, being locked into a 2-year agreement and those type of things, I kind of just want to hear how that sort of works. And then there was a couple other things on there, in their terms.
Questions?
Okay, so so again, if you have a chat, if you do have questions specifically, maybe what we could do is we could send them to Bola now. Send them to Bola over the next little while, and then she can kind of get that to whoever's doing the presentation. The other thing that I have a concern about applying for grants is that, do we know what we want to apply for to apply the cash to? So, you know, that's the other concern that I have, so. Okay, so moving along, quality improvements, committees, do you want to just share what your
Yes.
thoughts are there, Bola?
The quality improvement committee, you see, with this just a work in progress, it's not the final one. And the reason why we came up with this at the management level is to have a discussion with the council and see where they can perform or function more. It does not mean that whatsoever that we're written the name here should be there, no. So it's just kind of, we have to have a kind of deliberation. We are open to suggestion from council so that we'll be able to put where they can perform very well in terms of improving our community.
So I guess looking for council's feedback over the next while, I think this is a good thing. I'm okay with however it shakes out. My only caution is that we need to have actually a reason why these committees exist in the first place. So the first meeting should be developing sort of a charter on what the purposes of the committee or the quality improvement committee and what your outcomes you're expecting from it, because if it's just sitting around shooting the breeze, but we should know how often they're gonna meet and those type of things. I personally believe to start off with, they should meet at least monthly till you get a groove on to get some sort of idea what you're adding and then from there, go decide on how it goes. I also see that after maybe a year or so, you might switch some members up and shuffle some guys around. Say if somebody's got some interest in another area, but it's really about applying, support to the managers and getting the information back to them.
Are we going to measure the success of the committee as well? Will we be doing that,
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
quarterly?
Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Honestly, my
Like
thoughts.
quarterly? Should we look at doing it quarterly as to whether or not it's?
I think it wouldn't hurt to even just have a one technique is at the end of every meeting to ask the group, simple thumbs up, thumbs down, if we're getting any value of it.
Okay,
It's not just to have a committee, we're really trying to become transparent and supportive of our groups, so that's the whole idea.
One other option I was wondering about putting in here is some sort of like a bylaw or policy review. And just thinking about what Byron just brought forward, that there was some liability issues pertaining to the fire bylaw there. It'd be good to have somebody in place, whether it's staff or a counselor, both, at least go over those a certain period of time, just to make sure everything's still compliant.
Yeah, I think, I think each group could actually do that. I also think that what we should be doing is bringing, we don't know the legal requirements of the bylaws, so, I didn't know what the last one was.
No, we might not know, but maybe you're just reviewing it, you might want to start asking those questions and steer the discussion, and we can at least not talk about more of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it wouldn't hurt to have 3 bylaws reviewed every single meeting.
Yeah.
And then we can say, yes, these are them, and sign them off and make sure they're up to date. And the council can, and we're doing 3, it's on your agenda, we're not reading them at council meeting, but it's in front of you now as an actual bylaw or procedure, and we know they're refreshed. So that's with that, in camera, we're going.
resolve that we do now move ourselves into the in-camera portion of the committee. No. Yes, of the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy in the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
Yeah, so just for those that are watching, our in-camera will be pretty quick. There's no business coming out of in-camera tonight. So we expect that we could be done right away. So, thanks to everybody for watching. And, if you have any questions, as Councillor Hopper said tonight, feel free to give us some feedback. And we always like it when it comes with some solutions that can be applied.